Now we're going to do this at the end of the session, but I'm just showing it to you now. So when we get into certain things and you're like, what is she talking about? Why are we doing this? Everything that we're doing is built so that you'll be able to complete this assignment throughout this class. You're not going to have to wait until afterwards. It's not going to be homework. No, you're going to do it right here, right now, and we'll all be here to support each other. Cool beans? Alrighty, moving on. Let me just check the chat box really quick to make sure we're good. Oh, Sven says 1 minute. I think I went over. Sven, you're going to have to unmute yourself and give me, you're going to have to be vocal with the timekeeping. Oh, you can't. I didn't. See, I'm the queen. Now I have allowed your mic. Okay, so yeah, Spin is one of our newest members of Mighty Mole. All right, moving on. Okay, so unlike some people may have you to believe, social media is not a magic wand. I'm sorry to break it to you. Okay, social media amplifies what you're already doing in person. Even as technology evolves and we love it, we embrace it, we grow with it, nothing is ever going to replace this right here. Nothing is ever going to replace the actual human connection. So your social media should be amplifying what you're already doing in person. Okay. So, case in point, you have a GED class, right? That may be in person or virtual, right? Your social media is meant to promote that GED class. So we actually need to capture it as well, right? So this is when you take pictures of your students and things like that. A few tips that will help you use social media to amplify what you're already doing in person and to use in person to amplify your social media. It goes back and forth. Let's just get into those really quick. Okay, social media cards. For those of you who attended the digital literacy symposium, everybody received this in their gift bag. All right. On the back, it says, follow us for adult literacy updates. Now, it doesn't say, oh, please follow us and no reason why. No, we're telling you the value that you're going to get. If you want adult literacy updates, you should follow us. Again, when it comes to social media, sometimes people get a bit desperate. Please share, please like. No, 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 no. It's like dating. It's like going on a job interview. You know your value. We're not begging anybody for anything. We're simply sharing why they should want to stay connected with us. Okay. So these social media cards, when you use them in in-person events, you already have students who are coming in. When I ask our local literacy providers here in Houston, well, do your students follow your social media? They're like, oh no, they don't want to, or they're embarrassed. And then I come and record those same students and they're not embarrassed at all. No, you're projecting a stigma onto them. Most students, unless it's a safety issue, maybe they're coming out of domestic violence or, maybe they're seeking asylum or something like that. But that's very rare. That's less than 5% of students who have a problem with you capturing them from social media. So again, please don't project. It's always better to ask. Okay. So if you make QR codes for whatever platforms you have, I don't care if it's just one, you want to make sure that everybody who's crossing your threshold, you're giving them these cards. Federico in particular, he does a lot of traveling, going to national conferences, so forth and so forth. After the digital symposium and he saw the social media blow up, and he saw the results of the social media, right? Our goal was to bring as many people to this amazing training that Jackie organized. So he saw in real time, like, oh, this isn't just something that Bonke is just doing for a reason. No, the social media is designed for a result, right? So you want to do the same thing. So now when he goes to conferences, whether he's in DC or wherever, he brings these social media cards with him. So our social media continues to grow. But again, that's in person and online coming together. And I'm just going to pause and see if anybody has any questions about the QR codes and why we use them at in-person events.
Hi, I wasn't at that meeting. Can you give me, like, how big is your card? Like a 5x7?
It's index size.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
then we also have a bigger one. So this, depending on what type of event, we also have a bigger one that's half page. So when he goes to conferences, he takes like folders that have the basic information about our office. He puts these in the folder so that it stands out more. So it just depends on what you're using it for.
Okay. Yes, because we have student registrations, so I feel like that would be a really good chance for us to hand them out as well. Thank you.
Thank you. See, look at us learning already. Snap, snap. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's see what else is on here. Yes, so this is major. This is something that, again, because we're practicing, right? We're never experts. Something that I kicked myself about after I came to, especially Wesley Community Center, and recorded their students. I didn't get their social media handles. So although I was able to tag Wesley, I wasn't able to tag the students directly. Who can tell me why is it so important to tag the students themselves? And you can say this in the chat box and thank you, Pamela. Tali, did you have a question?
I did. I was just going to write in the chat. I didn't want to be too disruptive, but for things like QR codes and templates, when you work on like a larger team, do you have like a centralized place where everything gets stored? Because I know it's like,
Yeah, so for us, and now that we used to just have 4 people, Tally, we're up to 7. We
I
moving up
saw
in the
that.
world, okay?
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. And Spin, I saw your 5 minutes. Thank you. Um, for us, we have a Teams folder that is for, so it's just broken down into different categories. So we don't have a centralized place for all of our QR codes, but we
Mhm.
do have a social media folder within our team that has has subfolders. So the QR codes are in a centralized place.
Okay. Thank you. And thanks, Pamela.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments about the social media cards? Or, oh, I'm sorry, I asked you all the question. What is the merit? What's the benefit of tagging the students directly? Can anybody predict? And Ruth is typing. Ruth says, I am a celebrity, honey, and I got to save my voice. I feel you. You look like you can sing real good, like you in somebody's gospel choir, but we'll talk about that later. Um, Student handle would be a digital word of mouth. Okay, I hear you. It encourages them to follow the page. Absolutely. I see Alba is typing recruitment and referrals. We never know who, listen, everybody, all of us, and everybody you know is a sphere of influence. Okay. We all have influence, we all have power. You never know who is in your students network, who's in your volunteers network, who's in your staff network. Oprah is somebody's cousin, right? She she's following somebody's page. Like whatever donors or benefactors you're thinking, you want them to see the work. The more people you tag and then they reshare it. So let me use the example of Walter, who was one of the videos we shared when we were promoting for the digital symposium. He was 53 years old. He, after 20 plus years, I think after being incarcerated as well, he came back and was getting his GED. Okay. First off, homeboy looked like he was like 25. Okay. So there's that. But he was talking about how, as he shares his story, his daughter is getting encouraged. Tally, you remember that because you actually shared Walter's video. Right. Exactly. So if I had had the sense of mind then, right, to tag Walter, don't you think Walter would have shared that? Right? And then who knows how many more people would have seen the work of Wesley Community Center and started to follow them. It's the same thing with volunteers. With our email list, the Mayor's Office for Adult Literacy, the people who are hosting this training, right? We have, if you're in our email list, we send out various updates. It's all very useful, right, Tally? But so we shared an article from Pro Literacy talking about volunteers and the best way to recruit volunteers. I'm telling you guys, the best things are always so simple. You know what the best way to recruit volunteers is? Can anybody guess or tell us?